So we're going to have a look at the working seven from the 2018 Examcraft mock paper, which is in your question packs, and this is question one, of course, which is a company final account question. This is a bank reconciliation working where we have our own bank number and the bank statement number do not agree or correspond, so therefore we have to seek out some of the errors and adjust them accordingly. I've set up some of the accounts on the screen. As you can see, you may want to pause the video and set up as it is, or else you may wish to just watch on through and do it yourselves afterwards. So we're going to start off with their adjusted bank account. Now, when you read the working, it says the figure for the bank in the trial balance is taken from the farmer's bank account, and that figure is 37,355. It's about 3 up from the bottom of the trial balance. It says, however, a bank statement arrived showing a balance of 44,375 money in the bank. That's a discrepancy, and it says a comparison of the bank statement and the bank account has revealed the following 5 discrepancies. Now, numbers 1, 2, 4, and 5 are things which we have missed or omitted or done incorrectly. But number 3 is something we have done correctly, but the bank is not yet aware of. It says a check, and I'm reading number 3, it says a check for 1,200 issued to a creditor has not yet been presented for payment. So that is a check that we have written, and as of yet, the person has not gone to the bank to cash it. So we're aware of that one. We don't need to rectify that in our bank account. But the other ones we do, numbers 1, 2, 4, and 5. And we're going to run down through that now and see if we can get them sorted. The first one is, it says investment income of 3,000 has been paid directly into the firm's bank account. Well, that was unbeknownst to us, but nevertheless, we're delighted it has landed in our account, and that's €3,000, and that's on the money inside. Number 2, a direct debit to Electric Ireland has left our account. Sometimes that can happen, again, unbeknownst to the account holder, a direct debit can go out. This is for €950. It has been not recorded in our accounts, but it is now. €950 on the credit side, money out. Number 3, as I say, we will revisit in a moment. Number 4, a payment from a liquidator was received directly into the bank. This represents the first and final payment of 20 cents in the euro in respect of a debt of 17,500. Now, the term liquidator there is slightly new to us, but that is a debtor who owed us 17,500 has gone bankrupt. The liquidator has taken over his accounts and has paid the debtors 20% of the overall debt. But that's all they can pay. The rest is going to be a bad debt. So 20% of a total debt of 17,500 is going to be 3,500. It's 20% of 17.5. The last one is number 5. It says a check for €360 paid to a supplier or a creditor has been entered in the accounts as €630 in the cash book and the ledger. So we need to fix that. We have put 630 here, money out, when actually the check that we wrote was actually only 360. 630 never left the account. So therefore, to make this right, we need to put back in the over record of €270. And we will give that back to the creditor's account. And that's going to look like that, €270 on the debit side, because instead of 630 leaving the account like we recorded, only 360 left the account. So therefore, we need to put 270 back in. Once you have those 4 done, you can balance the account. So the total of the largest side is 44,125. You take away the smaller side, and you're going to get 43,175 and 43,175. The nice thing about this is going to be a current asset, assuming that's correct. Okay, here. on the debit side, money in the bank. The nice thing about this working is you can know halfway through whether you're doing it correctly or not by seeing if the bank account, that 43175, actually corresponds with the information given in the question. So I'm just going to check if the bank statement is also 43175. So the bank statement figure given in working 7 is 44375. That's how much money the bank say we have. But of course, they are unaware of a check which we have written for €1,200, which if we take out will give us 43175. And when this number here matches over here, well, then you can be safe in the knowledge that you have done this part correctly, the adjusted bank account. In fact, this bit up here now is unnecessary. I would always kind of suggest that you might do that on your calculator. So you can kind of get rid of that again from your accounts. But that is a cross check to make sure that you have done the adjusted bank account correct. So now we are safe in the knowledge that this 43175 is the correct figure. All we have to do now is go back over each individual correction here and correct the other half of it. This is the debit, and we have to correct the credit, or vice versa. And we normally do these in T accounts, but not necessarily always. For example, investment income, maybe we won't do this in a T account. The investment income, I'm going to go down to here. From earlier in the question, working 2, you would have already done some work on the investment income. So you would have worked out that your profit and loss figure for the investment income is 7,000. That is 400,000 by 3% by 7 months. And that is in itself an income. Then in working number 2, you would have said that 3,000 of that is received in patents. Now we can see that another received in the bank, another 3,000 has landed to us. So therefore, how much is still outstanding, or what we would call our investment income due? And our investment income due in this situation is going to be 1,000. Let's label that investment income due. And of course, we know that an income due is a current asset. So that is this 3,000 from here being factored in to the investment income working, which you could do in a T account, but I think it's easier to do that in a calculation, a columnar format, really. That's this one dealt with. Let's have a look at the debtor for a moment. Now, the debtor is 3,500 of a payment to the bank. That, of course, is 20% of the overall bad debt. So this is a bankrupt debtor. Of course, I should say here that this 64,940, that is coming from the suspense working, which is working number 3. So you have already completed working number 3, and you should have been carrying forward 64,940. Now we're into working 7 here. Now the bankrupt debtor, there's a full 17,500 which is leaving the debtor's account because this person has gone bankrupt. So the full amount is leaving. Of that, he paid us 3.5, and that goes on the debit side up here. So therefore, he is not paying us the remaining 14,000, and that is a bad debt here. And the debit of 14 and 3.5 here matches the credit of 17,500 in the debtor's account. That's that one. The creditor. Let's have a look at the creditor here. This is €270 that we had recorded as having paid, but in fact we had not paid it. So therefore you take this 270 from here, and this goes from the debit side of the bank account to the credit side of the creditor's account, which will increase the amount of creditors that we owe. Because of course, we owe more than we thought because we paid less than we thought, and 270 less than we thought. So therefore we actually owe more then 71,950. We'll add that in a moment. And then finally, you take your electricity here, and I'm going to put that under salaries and general expenses. Again, from working 3, the suspense working, there has already been work done on this. But now you're going to take this €950, and from the credit side here, you send it to the debit side here. And that is just increasing the expense of salaries and general expenses, because it's 950 for electricity that we were not aware of. So therefore, our general expenses are going to go up by 950. Now we'll just do a little bit of tidying up here with some of these balances. You don't need to go overboard on this. You just need to put in the total. So now our new debtors number is 47,440. That's the number you will get your provision for bad debts on in working 10. The bad debt is 14,000, which of course is an expense if we wish to record that. The creditors are now adding up to well, let's just that there. So 72,220 current liability, and of course this is also an expense, and that's going to add up to 174,320. Of course, as the clue is in the name there, that's also an expense, administration expense. So from this whole working, you have a new current asset bank figure, which we have confirmed is correct on our calculators. You have a new debtors number. You have investment income due of €1,000, and you also have your investment income from earlier on anyway. You have a new expense. You have a new figure for creditors, and you have a new expense called salaries and general expenses. And from there, you are ready to proceed on to working 8, 9, and 10 from there. Hope this is helpful. You feel free to contact me again if you have any questions on this.